Hi, this is Rick Rodriguez, Senior Vice President and Retirement Mortgage Specialist at VIP Mortgage. Today I want to show you, give you a sneak peek of my process. And when I work with anyone who is looking to possibly put a retirement mortgage, aka reverse mortgage, into their plan, my process is to show them not only what can a reverse mortgage do in terms of eliminating your mortgage payment, but also, what if you redirected that cash flow to other areas of your life, whether it be to eliminate existing debts or applying it to your existing savings, or if you don't have a savings, creating a retirement savings. And also, what about applying it to the new reverse mortgage? Right, some people might think that's contradictory. Why would you make a payment on a reverse mortgage, Rick? Well, there's reasons to. For some people, depends on your objectives. And also what comes into play to this discussion is what I call the secret weapon of the reverse mortgage, and that is the growing line of credit, that when you make payments into the reverse mortgage, those payments also go into the reverse mortgage line of credit dollar for dollar to help you remain liquid and also to further grow your cash flow right within your reverse mortgage. So let me show you an example. I'm going to walk you through the software that I use, which is called EquityWorks Pro. It's a software created by MoneyTrax, which is a company that creates planning software for a lot of financial advisors throughout the country. They created a software for us to best illustrate how a reverse mortgage can work in the big picture, the retirement plan. So let me walk you through this here and show you. I've got a scenario here. Age 65 is the age of my youngest borrower, and they currently are making, between the two of them, an income of $3,500 per month, and their monthly lifestyle, not including their existing mortgage payment, is $1,500 a month. That is, again, just expenses to live each month. Presently, they have in their retirement savings $250,000 and historically earning a rate of return of about 5%. The home is worth $950,000 today, appraised at $950,000, appreciating at about 4% per year, which is about a national average for most parts. And the current mortgage that they owe has a balance of approximately $300,000. They got it at a 3% interest rate, and they have about 278 months remaining with a principal and interest payment of $1,500 per month. All right, so that's presently where they're at today. Now, if we put a reverse mortgage in place, what they're going to qualify for, number one, is to eliminate the existing mortgage payment of $300,000. That's benefit number one with the reverse mortgage. Now, based on their age, based on current interest rates, they qualify for a maximum, what we call principal limit, which is another word for reverse mortgage loan amount, of $388,550. After we deduct the existing balance with the cost of setting up the reverse mortgage, which are about $28,000 based on a home value of this amount, $950,000. This leaves them with benefit number two, which is they have cash available, which they can take out or set up as monthly payments, or as a third option, put in a reverse mortgage line of credit, what I call the secret weapon. The reverse mortgage line of credit can work in a lot of different objectives. We're not going to be able to get into all the objectives, but in this case, this scenario, these clients don't need any immediate cash. They're utilizing the reverse mortgage to first and foremost eliminate the cash outflow of $1,500 a month of principal interest payments that they're making presently. And they're going to put this entire approximately $60,000 that they have access to their home's equity in the reverse mortgage line of credit, where number one, it always remains liquid. It's insured by the product that it can never be reduced or taken away. That's a big assurance unlike traditional HELOCs or other types of credit lines. And it grows. It grows at the current interest rate. Right now, interest rate's about 6.5%, thereabouts. So that $60,000 will be growing at a monthly compounding annual rate of, again, 6.5%. So let's see what this looks like in scenario number one, which is going to be simply, let's save this cash flow, this $1,500 a month that you're presently sending to a traditional mortgage company that once you send the money, it's gone, right? Your liquidity is gone. I mean, it's going into, of course, against the debt of the mortgage balance. It's going into the equity of your home, but the cash, once it leaves your pocket, the liquidity is gone. It now goes into an illiquid asset, real estate, right? So as option number one, from a liquidity standpoint, how would a reverse mortgage compare to the traditional mortgage in this scenario? So as you can see, here we are at age 70, the beginning age of this applicant, and you see 3 tanks, and they're the same 3 tanks on each side. On the left side, I have the traditional mortgage, where you presently stand today. On the right side, I have the reverse mortgage, also known as the Home Equity Conversion Mortgage, HECM. This is the most common reverse mortgage, the FHA insured reverse mortgage. And I've got 3 buckets on each side. I've got bucket number 1, which is your savings bucket. This applicant currently has $250,000 in their overall retirement savings. It could be in different accounts. We're not going to get into the different types of accounts. We're just going to generalize $250,000 in retirement savings. Bucket number 2 is the mortgage bucket. They presently owe a mortgage that they took out a few years ago of $300,000. And bucket number 3 is the equity bucket. The value of the house, presently at $950,000, minus what they owe equals equity of $650,000, right? Pretty simple. On the right side, where we have the reverse mortgage set up, same 3 buckets. You notice that the mortgage balance is a little bit more. Why is that? Well, it's because of the balance, the existing balance, plus the insurance, the other costs of setting up the reverse mortgage, the one-time costs of setting it up, the closing costs, in other words. And we also have here an additional field, which is the line of credit. As I mentioned a minute ago, this is what they have available in this scenario after we pay off the necessary costs in the existing balance. This is what they have in addition to that they can draw from at any point in time. So equity is the same, right? I should say the field's the same. It's a little different because of why? Well, the balance is a little bit higher, as you can see. So what I'm going to show you now is year by year how these 3 tanks, your savings tank, your mortgage tank, and your equity tank, interact with one another as time goes on with both your traditional mortgage that you currently have in place and what if you put a reverse mortgage in place instead. So let's step up here. I'm going to go up 1 year here, age 71. Okay, now, what's happened? Well, a couple things I want to point out here. On the left side, you see your savings tank has grown. It went from $250,000 to $262,000. Why is that? Well, under this assumption, we're not drawing from savings at this point in our life to supplement income, and it's growing at approximately 5% rate of return. Your mortgage balance, as you saw, has come down. That's because of the payments that you made. The payments that you made are $1,500 a month times 12. That's $18,000. In this scenario, you're also making, this applicant is making Social Security of $3,500 per month. $3,500 per month equates to $42,000 a year. Now, if you look down here, you see this $42,000 that they're making per year. However, what is left for their lifestyle is $24,000. Why is that? Well, that's because their life expenses come out to about, their mortgage expenses come out to about $18,000 per year. $42,000 minus $18,000 leaves you with $24,000 for your lifestyle, okay? Home value has gone up about 4% per year, and here's the equity position. Okay, this is all after 12 months under the traditional mortgage. What if the reverse mortgage was put in place? Well, savings is the same amount, because we haven't taken or added to that in this illustration. However, you notice there's an extra field here of line of credit, which adds to the liquidity. So simply put, the reverse mortgage line of credit, as you can see now, it's grown from where it started, about $59,000 in 1 year. It's grown to $63,672. Why is that again? Remember, it grows at the same interest rate as the mortgage is growing. So now that's at approximately $63,672. If you add that to the existing savings, this is the total liquidity after year 1 with the reverse mortgage. You notice a difference, $326,000 versus $262. That's approximately $54,000 of liquidity, almost 60,000. No, excuse me, actually 64,000 more. 64,000 in liquidity, which is the line of credit, right? Now the mortgage balance has grown because you're not making payments under illustration number 1. What you're doing is you're saving that $18,000, which is the annual mortgage payments that you would have been making with a traditional mortgage. You're saving that in your pocket to increase the spend on your lifestyle. So you see this figure here, the $42,000. For the first year, you have $42,000 to apply to lifestyle, whatever that might be, your expenses, your travel, whatever those things are that you're doing in your retirement, versus $24,000 with your traditional mortgage. So you're plus $18,000 as well, not only in the liquidity side, but you're plus $18,000 on positive cash flow by not sending your mortgage payments to the traditional mortgage company. So if we continue to see how this relationship, I'm going to go up to age 75 and then also up to age 80, so you can just kind of see where this sits. So at age 75, you see the liquidity, $403,000 you've accumulated between your retirement savings and the reverse mortgage line of credit at age 75 versus $320,000. So that's $83,000 more, which is the exact amount of the line of credit. That's how much more liquidity you have versus the traditional mortgage. Plus, you've also surmounted $90,000 over those 5 years. Simple math, right? $18,000 per year times 5. You've surmounted $90,000 more in discretionary income to apply towards your lifestyle. This is at age 75. If I take you to age 80, which is 10 years from where you started, you see the difference. Discretionary income is $180,000 more with a reverse mortgage. Your liquidity, $527,000 versus $411,000. You're $116,000 more in liquidity. What's happened to equity? Well, equity, you have given up some equity. Now, if you're living in this home long term, this for you could be less of a factor than someone who maybe is going to move here in the next couple years. Different scenario, but in this scenario, this is a home that you're intending to live for the rest of your life. It works well for you. So equity for you may not be as relevant. Of course, with the reverse mortgage, you are giving up equity in illustration number 1 because you're not making payments, right? But cash flow is the focus for this particular person. 527 plus the 180, right? Let me give you another example. What if? Illustration number 2 is, what if I take that $1,500 that I was saving in my pocket with the reverse mortgage in option 1, and what if I send that to my existing retirement savings, right? I have, as we stated, I have $250,000 to start with right now. What if I continue growing that while I can? Again, I'm 70 in this example. And so maybe for the next 10 years, I can comfortably send $1,500. What would that do to my plan? Well, let's look at that scenario. Here I've got it queued up where you're now sending $1,500 every month for as long as you can. So here's the next illustration. Now, again, same three tanks, same starting points as we saw in the last illustration, but now we're going to see a difference on the reverse mortgage. We're going to see the difference with the savings tank. Okay, how much is being applied now because we're making contributions to our retirement savings. So after 1 year, let me point out, here on the left side, it's the same figures as before with the traditional mortgage. On the right side, we're no longer seeing the difference in positive cash flow to your discretionary income of $18,000 per year. Why is that? Because now we're seeing a contribution of $18,000 directly to your retirement savings. So after 1 year, your retirement savings has now grown to $281,209, right? That's your savings plus $18,000 and rate of return of 5% per year, right? Line of credit on the reverse mortgage is the same. The mortgage balance after 1 year is the same. These numbers haven't changed. Let's continue on to see what this looks like at age 75. Well, our savings has now grown to $422,000. Our line of credit under the reverse mortgage is the same, $82,000. Our total liquidity now is $505,000. And what if we take it to age 80? Well, as compared to the last example, again, numbers are the same with the traditional mortgage on the left side. That hasn't changed at all. What has changed is the amount that you have in your retirement savings after 10 years. Under this illustration, which is redirecting your current mortgage payments to your retirement savings instead, we've now surmounted $644,676 into your retirement savings, again using an annual rate of return of 5%. Our line of credit is the same as it was at age 80 in the last illustration. But look at our liquidity now. $760,000 that we've surmounted in liquid assets versus $411,000 if we continued on the same plan that we are today. One more illustration that I want to show you. So keep that number in mind, 760 after 10 years under option 2. What if, as one more option, instead of applying $1,500 a month to your retirement savings, what if you applied $1,500 a month to your reverse mortgage? This might make more sense for some people who also want to increase their home equity for whatever reason. Maybe there's beneficiary implications as an example. And also, they might see the value of putting $1,500 into the reverse mortgage where, as I mentioned a couple times, that amount's also going into your reverse mortgage line of credit that's growing right now between 6.5%. What would that look like? Well, let's see. Same starting numbers apply on all sides. Okay, we're at age 70 here. We're going to step up 1 year to age 71. And what does this look like? Again, on the left side, we have savings 262. Our equity is 697 to begin with. We owe 290. On the right side, we've applied, our savings account is the same as on the left side, 262. Our reverse mortgage loan balance, what we owe, is lower, has been reduced. Why? Because we're applying $1,500 every month. Plus, our line of credit, as you see, has also increased because every dollar of that $1,500 a month payment goes into our reverse mortgage line of credit dollar for dollar. So now after 1 year, we've surmounted $82,000 in this reverse mortgage line of credit. And our equity position is larger than in the last 2 illustrations, naturally because we're paying down the debt. We're applying some of our dollars to the debt, so it's not growing as large. Let's see what this looks like at age 75. We continue the same relationship. By the way, once you start making payments on a reverse mortgage, that doesn't mean that your required to make those same payments each and every month from that point forward. Remember, because it's an optional payment mortgage, at any point in time, you can decide not to make payments. Or if you prefer, you can make payments for whatever you want at different frequencies. For example, maybe instead of sending a payment every month of $1,500 a month, you send one payment at the end of the year of $18,000 as an example. So this is customizable to your objectives, however you want to send that cash flow out. And again, you're not going to be stuck into any sort of plan because this is an optional payment mortgage. So here we are now at age 75. As you can see, same numbers again on the left side, that hasn't changed. On the right side, we've been sending payments to the reverse mortgage to keep the balance from growing as large as it did in the previous two illustrations. Plus, now our line of credit has ballooned to almost $190,000 in 5 years. Remember, it started at $59,000 to begin with. Our liquidity is now $510,000 after 5 years. That's the sum of the line of credit plus what I have in existing savings. And what about our equity? Pretty comparative to the traditional mortgage in that at this point we have an estimated home equity position of $804,000 versus $904,000, so about $100,000 less. However, we have $190,000 more available in liquidity. What if we continue on to age 80? And here we are. If you remember in the last example, our liquidity position is now at its largest, as in the previous two illustrations. Illustration number one was simply just keeping the monthly payment and utilizing that for our discretionary income, for our lifestyle every month. Option number two was sending the $1,500 a month every month to our retirement savings. Option number three, we've been sending these payments to our reverse mortgage instead to increase the reverse mortgage line of credit, which now at age 80 is approximately $369,733, added to our existing savings, which started at $250, has now increased to $411. Total liquidity is its largest as compared to all three illustrations that I've shown you here. It's now $781,485 that this person has access to, which is $370,000 more than they would have access to if they just continued doing what they're doing today, which is using a traditional mortgage, paying $1,500 a month. And what about home equity? $1,023,000. We're less than, well, we're a little bit over, I should say, about $180,000 or so from where we would be as far as equity position if we had the traditional mortgage making the payments towards the traditional mortgage. However, look at the access to liquidity. So, in conclusion, what I want to show you here with this tool, which is what a reverse mortgage is a tool to get to different solutions in one's retirement. And I just depicted one. I mean, there's millions of different combinations that you could go through, different scenarios, different cases that a reverse mortgage should be applicable, whether it's to help offset drawing from investments, saving on taxes, increasing, of course, liquidity in a variety of different manners. The reverse mortgage can give you 3 different options on how you can best manage your mortgage to get to the end result. What's the end result? For many people, increase liquidity, increase my retirement savings. A lot to this. We can show a lot of different examples, and happy to run these scenarios for you, someone you know, to show you how a retirement mortgage, aka reverse mortgage, can plug into the retirement plan and hopefully lead to a more successful, more liquid retirement for you or someone you know. Rick Rodriguez, VIP Mortgage, specializing in reverse mortgages for now 20 years. Reach out to me anytime, and I'd love to show you how this may work in your retirement plan. Till the next one.